Sometime my brother told me that a jack of all trades is a master of none. You people know, like those who have really been with me, you know that there is almost nothing that I have not done. I have done everything. So now there was one time I was telling my brother, he came and visited. And then I told him, by the way, I'm actually making cakes if you want cakes. He told me, what haven't you done? So in that way, I thought he told me a jack of all trades. But you see, that was not only what he said. You see, if you have to master something, there's a way you need to focus on it. You concentrate on it. And there you can be a master. Actually, there's a book called Building a Discipling Culture. Now, Mike Breen, in that book, he was quoting someone who said that you have to do something, I think, 10,000 times. So when you repeat it over and over, you know that one will be a master at it. Now, that 10,000 times, it amounted to 5 years. It amounted to 5 years or 10 years, one of them. Actually, 5 years, I think. But if you continue doing this thing for 5 years, then you will be a master at it, whatever it is. But now imagine, you are doing this for 2 months. The other year you're doing this, you'll be a master at none. So you'll only be a jack of all trades. So welcome to this space. My name is TK and you are at the Manifest Academy today. So I want to talk about focusing. I want us to talk about focus. Now, focus is something that is very important if you actually want to manifest something. When we're manifesting something, you actually want to be a master at that thing. It is important that you focus on the thing that you want to be. While we were growing, there are things that we wanted to be. We wanted to be a doctor. Actually, me, the doctor thing came when I was probably like in senior 4. I felt like I should be a neurosurgeon. Not because I really wanted to operate people's brains or do what, but I had read that there was no any female neurosurgeon at the time. I'm not for these days, but at the time there were no female neurosurgeons. And in my head I felt like, okay, so for female neurosurgeon that would be nice. I was looking at the money anyway, so I opted for it. But that was also too late to opt for it in senior 4. Who opts for neurosurgeon? That is total failure, just know. The good thing, I didn't over-announce it to people, so I didn't have to account for why I didn't turn out a neurosurgeon. But when I thought about it very, very much as my senior career, I realized that it's money that I want. I don't think I really wanted to operate anyone's brain, but it was money that I wanted. And I realized there are many ways that I can make money without operating anyone's brain. Speaking about brains, the human mind, it cannot multitask. I know women have this thing that for them, women can multitask and men cannot multitask, but we all have the mind. We all have that mind. The brain, it cannot multitask. And I mean multitasking simultaneously. It cannot think of many things at the same time. Most especially if you want to make like critical decisions. You cannot think of something critical and then another critical thing to make a decision. You cannot think of it simultaneously, and that is how the mind works. I'm not talking about you cannot chew while talking, while eating. You can do that, but I am talking of thinking, because that is where the mind is really put at task when it comes to think. Now, the mind cannot do that. It cannot multitask, but instead it switches rapidly. From one thing to another. So when you're multitasking, that is what happens. But even the brain on its own, it processes a lot. It is a busy place. It is very busy. It is over 100 billion connections. Then over 100 trillion connections between neurons. Now that is science. If you wanted to be a neurosurgeon, come with me. This is the part where you arise, because I am talking brains. Then it also has it's about 20 to 30 thoughts per second. That is how the brain works. So I think you can see how busy it is. You're thinking this, the brain switches anytime. So if you yourself, you have not trusted in yourself, what I am basically saying, I am saying that the mind is a busy place. If you do not know how to catch it, that is why you end up finding yourself multitasking, find yourself being a jack of all trades, because there is always a kapia that has fallen somewhere. There's always something new that is coming up. There's a new deal. In fact, concentrating on one thing is not easy. It is not easy, because naturally the brain is always processing, thinking of something new, something has come, something is this. You want to go with that because that is how the brain has been wired. But that way you cannot be a master. That way you cannot manifest any kind of greatness, any form of greatness. You cannot achieve that thing which you want with that way of going by the brain. That's why you see there are some people who are so busy. There's one person I asked and I said, but do you ever sit? Like, do you ever sit? You know, there are some people who have a busy spirit. You know, the busy spirit, but these are people who are busy. They are always everywhere. They do this, they do that. They are ever here, they will talk this. They have never been found calm, like they can never sit down. But you see, if you want to be able to achieve something, that thing that you really want, you have to be able to control that mind of yours. Now, the mind should not control you. I've already told you it has 20 to 30 thoughts per second. I'm talking of seconds. Seconds, 30 to 20 to 30, there in between. The connections, over 1 trillion connections, all those are all nerves running around in the mind. So it is so easy to divert anytime. But now for you, the power that lies in you is the fact that you can actually be able to control that. So if you have control over your mind, then you can direct it to be able to do for you that thing that you want it to do for you. Now, I just want us to talk about how to focus ourselves to focus, because from what we have seen, focusing is not as easy as we think. It takes a lot to be able to focus. Now, how can we focus? There are some few things that I wrote down. Maybe you can think of something else, but these are the ones that I think of. Now, if you want to focus on something, I think you need to know what you want, and you should want it that badly. You should want it that badly, because even when the direction comes, even if when you divert, you should be able to remember that this is the thing I want, and I want to achieve it. Come rain, come shine, I need to achieve this thing. So that is why you have to know it, even for the start. Now, that is the first one. Now, for that, the second one is you have to write it down. I know it seems like writing it down, like we write down everything. Yes, you have to write it down. And writing it down, you have to keep reading it over and over and over, because in that way you are practicing that thing of repetition. And repetition, we say, is one of the things that help us to mark things in our subconscious. And our subconscious is what drives us to do things automatically without even our thought. But repetition helps us within that direction. So yes, you have to write down and keep reading it to yourself. You can decide and you do it. Maybe I'll write it down every day already. There's something I am doing recently, that an idea that I came up with, and I'm trying it. I missed the 3 days, but I am catching up. When you fail, you don't just give up immediately. You do it again. You start again. You start afresh. So I get to write down this thing every day, and I also read it to myself every day. It helps me be able to remember that which I want, the thing that I want badly. It helps me remember it, and when I resound it, I am speaking to myself. So in that way, it works for me. Now, that is the second one. Write it and keep reminding yourself about it every day. You can take about maybe a month, some people say a month, but I think the more the better. If you can go longer until it is familiar with it, becomes yours, it could go 60 days. 60 days would be good. That one should be about 2 months. Then there it will have maybe implanted within. But even the longer, the better. Why not? Now, the third, you have now to set goals. You're not going to just write them down and then you don't even do it. You have to set goals. When you set these goals, the goals of how are you actually going to do this thing, then break them down. Break them down into things that you can be able to do. You will break them maybe in weeks or days, the way you see possible. There is a way you may want to set them in quarters or what. Daily goals would be good, but daily goals can be a bit hectic. Maybe weekly, but daily would have been the best. But set goals. The main point is you set these goals. How are you going to achieve these things? Then break those goals down and be able to execute these things. Now, the fourth, you have to practice mindfulness. Now, when I say mindfulness, is you have to keep bringing back yourself. We say the brain keeps diverting, thinking it can multitask, but the brain cannot multitask. So you have to be mindful of how you're thinking, what it is thinking about. It can divert and want to do cakes. It can divert and want to sell clothes. It can divert and want to do this. You are diverting from the course. You are really diverting. So when you catch yourself going there, bring back yourself. There is a time when you will diverse to whatever else that you want. But in the beginning, for you to be a master, you have to first concentrate on something. You have to concentrate on something for some time before you divert to make again that the major thing. To divert to make it again a major thing. How many majors are you going to do? How many majors? So that mindfulness you have to cut yourself down. That can be done through meditation. You can meditate, get a time, and even you yourself first hold yourself, like rest, first rest. Think about it, meditate, think about it, and see how you can also you stop your mind from moving. First, stop all those connections and relax and try to refocus even in your quiet time. So that is how meditation can actually be done. In that way, it helps a lot with focusing. The fifth one is do it. Like all the things that you have done, do them. The things that we have mentioned, you need to do them. Don't just read them and say you know them. You can even refresh them once more. But the major target is to do them. There's nothing you can get without practically doing it. You have to do it. You have to try it. Today it will be hard, but tomorrow it will not. Another time it may be easier. So that is what I wanted to share with you today about focusing, because focusing is an important thing. You will have all things, but if you do not focus, you can't be a master at it. Hence, you won't be able to manifest that which you really want to manifest. So, well, thank you for watching today. Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.